The summer of 1983 in northern Arizona felt like it was trying to last forever. Every afternoon, the heat pressed down on the neighborhood like a heavy hand, baking the sidewalks, warping the air above the asphalt. But for the kids of Juniper Ridge, that kind of heat wasn't something to hide from, it was something to conquer. They rode bikes with playing cards clipped to the spokes, raced through dry creek beds, and spent entire days chasing adventure. DJ believed that more than anyone. He stood at the center of their group, loud and confident. "Something big is going to happen to us," he said one afternoon, balancing on his BMX like he was delivering a speech. Danny laughed from the curb, tossing a rock into the dirt. "Yeah, like what? Buried treasure? Aliens?" "Movies," Lena said quietly. She had only been in the neighborhood for 3 weeks, still knew enough that everything felt slightly off-center. DJ didn't hesitate. It does if you go looking for it. He didn't wait for adventure. He chased it. And that's how they ended up in the woods that afternoon. It was a stretch of rugged land dotted with scrubby trees. "Race you to the ridge!" Bobby shouted, already sprinting ahead. Bobby and Leroy were the strongest of the group. Danny ran last. And that's when the ground disappeared beneath him. It was a sudden collapse, a sharp drop, and a cloud of dust rising into the air. The group rushed back, skidding to a halt at the edge of a jagged hole in the earth. Danny's voice echoed up from below. "Guys, relax, I'm fine. But, you might want to come down here." There was something in his voice now. Not fear. Curiosity. The hole wasn't just a hole. A broken tree branch became a makeshift ladder. The air changed as Bobby descended. Cooler. Still. Different. Danny wasn't just sitting at the bottom of a pit. He was sitting at the mouth of something else. A tunnel. "This ain't just a hole," Bobby muttered. Above them, the others leaned over the edge. "What's down there?" "A cave." That word hung in the air like a spark, not a hole. Not an accident, an entrance. They climbed back up together, dust-covered, sweating, but buzzing with something electric. DJ stepped forward immediately. "I told you." Lena crossed her arms. "Or it's dangerous." "Or something nobody's ever found before," DJ pushed back. That landed.
Welcome to the Super Show 8! The Super Show 8, the comedy sports, Ohio, state football, anime, social events, and military life. Welcome to the Super Show 8!
Because that was the dream, wasn't it? To be the first. To discover something no one else had seen. Chris glanced at the hole again. "We should be careful." "We will be," DJ said. "We go back tomorrow, prepared." "Or we don't go back at all," Lena replied. But even she could see it. The way the others looked at that opening in the earth, like it was calling them. And once something like that starts, it's already too late to walk away. That night, none of them slept the same. The cave followed them home. It lingered in their thoughts, crept into their dreams, turned into something bigger with every passing hour. What had been a simple hole in the ground that afternoon had become, by nightfall, a doorway to what none of them could say. But DJ already knew what it meant. By morning, he was ready. He met Danny first, just after the sun had cleared the horizon. The air was still cool, the neighborhood quiet in that rare moment before the day began. "You ready?" DJ asked. Danny held up a flashlight like it was proof. "Got this. Snacks too." DJ grinned. "Perfect." They gathered supplies like they were gearing up for an expedition. By the time the others arrived at their usual meeting spot, everything was already in motion. "You're actually doing this," Lena said, looking between them. "We all agreed," DJ replied. "That doesn't mean it was a good idea." Brian stepped beside her. "We should think this through." "We did," Danny said. "All night." "That's what I'm afraid of," Lena muttered. But backing out now wasn't simple. Not when everyone had said yes. Not when the idea had already taken hold. "Look," Chris said, trying to keep the peace. "We go in, we look around, and if anything feels off, we leave." "Exactly," DJ said. Reluctantly, the group moved. Back through the woods. Back to the hole. It hadn't changed. At least not in any obvious way. They circled it carefully, checking the edges, testing the ground. It seemed stable. Safe enough. Danny stepped close to the edge, wobbling slightly like he might fall again. "Don't," Lena warned. He grinned. "Relax fooled you. Cut it out," DJ snapped. "We need to take this seriously." That shifted the mood. They stood there for a moment, all of them, staring down into the darkness. Then DJ spoke. "We stayed together," he said. "Nobody wanders off. We don't know how deep this goes. Could be animals down there. Could be anything. They each grabbed a stick. One by one, they climbed down and disappeared into the earth. The light from above disappeared faster than anyone expected. One moment, the opening of the cave was a bright circle overhead. The next, it was just a dim memory swallowed by shadow. Flashlights clicked on one by one. Thin beams cut through the darkness, bouncing off uneven walls, catching dust floating lazily in the air. The ground beneath them sloped downward at first, wide enough for all of them to walk without thinking too much about it. That helped, at least in the beginning. See? DJ said, his voice echoing faintly. Not so bad. Lena didn't answer. She was already noticing things the others weren't. The way the air felt thicker. The way sound carried differently, like it didn't want to leave. They moved deeper. At around 50 feet in, the tunnel changed. It narrowed slightly and began to rise upward, forcing them to climb at a shallow angle. The ground was rough, uneven, natural, not carved. Their shoes scraped against stone as they made their way up. At the crest, they paused. Everybody good? Chris asked. A chorus of tired yas followed. Danny leaned against the wall, catching his breath. This is already better than anything on TV. Don't jinx it, Brian muttered. They kept going. And that's when the cave shifted again. The tunnel sloped downward, this time steeper, tighter. The walls pressed closer together, forcing them to turn sideways in some places. In others, they had to crouch, then crawl. The temperature dropped. The air changed. Not colder, exactly. Just heavier. Anybody else feel that? Lena asked. Yeah, Leroy said. Feels like harder to breathe or something. Probably just dust, DJ said quickly, but even he slowed his pace. Their voices grew quieter. Not because they agreed to it, but because something about the cave demanded it. Every movement felt louder than it should. Every scrape of a shoe echoed too long. They pushed forward anyway, because turning around now felt like giving up. And none of them wanted to be the first to say it. The complaints started low, then grew louder. This is getting stupid, Bobby said, wiping sweat from his forehead. We should head back. Yeah, Brian added. We don't even know how far we've come. Not that far, DJ insisted. It feels far, Lena replied. That was when the tunnel opened. Suddenly, unexpectedly, the tight walls gave way to a small chamber just big enough for all of them to stand upright. The ceiling rose above them, and the air felt easier to breathe. Relief swept through the group. Okay, this is better, Danny said, stretching his back. They gathered in the center, their flashlight beams crossing and overlapping like tangled threads. DJ saw his moment. All right, he said, forcing a grin. Break time. A few of them laughed, not because it was funny, because they needed it. Let's not turn around yet, DJ added quickly. We've come this far, Lena gave him a look. You said that 20 feet ago. And I was right then too, he shot back. She shook her head, but she wasn't arguing as hard anymore. That mattered. DJ turned to her. You've got good instincts, right? She raised an eyebrow. What are you doing? Pick the next tunnel, he said, gesturing to the openings branching out from the chamber. Your call. The others looked at her, waiting. Lena let out a small laugh. You're serious? Completely, she hesitated. Then slowly turned, scanning each dark opening. Something about that moment shifted the energy again. This wasn't random anymore. It was a choice. Finally, she pointed. That one, she said. Second from the left. DJ clapped his hands once. Done, let's go. No take-backs, Danny added. Didn't ask for one, Lena replied. They moved toward the tunnel, and as they did, none of them noticed how the air behind them seemed to settle, like something had been waiting. This tunnel was different. Tighter, much tighter. Within a few feet, they had to turn sideways again. Another few feet, and even that wasn't enough. Take the bags off, Chris said. They did, one by one, dropping their supplies at the entrance of the tunnel. Flashlights stayed. Sticks stayed. DJ hesitated with his bag, then pulled out the rope. He wrapped it around his chest and tied it off. Just in case, he said. No one asked what that meant. They squeezed forward. The cave pressed in around them, shoulders scraping, knees dragging across rough ground. The air grew stale, almost suffocating. Feels longer than the last one, Danny muttered. That's because it is, Bobby replied. Twists and turns. Left, right, slight dips. Sudden rises. It became disorienting fast. Then Brian stopped. Abruptly. The chain reaction was immediate, everyone behind him freezing, bumping into each other. What is it? Lena asked. I think... Brian said slowly, I think there's another tunnel. Good, Leroy said. Let's turn around. Wait, Brian added. It looks like it opens up. That changed things. Carefully, he reached forward, brushing aside thick strands of spiderweb clinging to the entrance. He pushed through. Yeah, he called back. It opens up. Not big, but enough. One by one they followed. The space beyond was small, tight, enclosed, but they could stand. Barely. It felt like the cave was breathing around them. Danny shifted uncomfortably. Okay, I don't know whose hand that is. Lena rolled her eyes. Not now. No, seriously, Danny said. One of you is touching me. I'm not even near you, Chris replied. Me neither, Bobby added. Danny's voice dropped. Then whose hand is on me? Silence. DJ spoke carefully. Use your flashlight. They all did. At the same time, beams of light snapped downward, cutting through the darkness and froze, because the hand was real. It was touching Danny, but it wasn't attached to anyone. It was coming out of the wall. For a moment, no one spoke. No one moved. The hand was dry. Skin pulled tight against bone. DJ forced himself to move first. All right, he said. We can't just leave them here. Why not? Lena shot back immediately. Because it's a person, DJ replied. And digging them out makes it better? She asked. This isn't a game anymore. Brian nodded. We should tell the police. But DJ was already shaking his head. If we bring something back, proof, they'll have to listen. Chris stepped beside him. We can use the rope. Pull them out slowly. No, Lena said firmly. I'm not doing that. Me neither, Brian added. Danny hesitated but didn't step back. Neither did Bobby or Leroy. That was all it took. The decision split the group without saying it out loud. Fine, Lena said. Then we're going back now. She turned. Brian followed. The others stayed, and slowly, carefully, they reached for the hand. The dirt around it was soft, looser than it should have been. As they pulled, more of it gave way. An arm, a shoulder. Wrapped, cloth. Old, preserved. The shape beneath it didn't collapse, didn't fall apart. It held, intact. Danny's voice shook. Guys, this isn't just a body. They pulled more and more, until finally the figure came free. Wrapped from head to toe, perfectly preserved, not decayed, not skeletal, something else entirely, something ancient, something that should not have been there. And in the suffocating stillness of that underground chamber, none of them noticed the smallest movement. A shift, so subtle it could have been imagined. Except it wasn't. It took everything they had to move it. The body, if that's what it was, felt heavier than it should have. Not just in weight, but in presence. Like it resisted being handled, even though it didn't move. Careful, Chris said, gripping the wrapped shoulder. Don't tear it. I'm trying, Bobby replied, straining as he adjusted his hold. The cloth was dry. Fragile in appearance, but it didn't crumble. It held together, tight against the shape beneath it, preserving every contour of the figure inside. Danny swallowed hard. This is insane. We actually found something. Don't say it like that, Leroy muttered. Feels wrong. They worked slowly, inch by inch, maneuvering the body through the tight tunnel. It was harder going back than it had been going in. Every turn required coordination. Every narrow section forced them to pause, reposition, and pull again. Behind them, deeper in the cave, the darkness swallowed the chamber where the body had been buried. Ahead of them, faint light waited. None of them noticed how the air seemed to ease the further they moved away, or how something else lingered behind. By the time they reached the second chamber, Lena and Brian were waiting. Lena's eyes went straight to the body. Her expression changed instantly. You actually did it, she said, her voice low. We couldn't just leave it, DJ replied. You should have. Brian stepped closer, examining it carefully. That's not normal. No kidding, Danny said. It's like preserved or something. Like a mummy, Chris added quietly. The word stuck. Mummy. It sounded ridiculous, impossible, but there it was. Wrapped, intact, ancient, real. Lena shook her head. We're leaving, now? No one argued this time. The return trip was slower, 3 times slower. They took turns carrying the weight, navigating the twisting tunnels, squeezing through tight spaces with something that felt more like a secret than a discovery. By the time they reached the entrance, their arms ached, Their lungs burned, and their excitement had dulled into something harder to name. They laid the body down just inside the cave. No one spoke for a moment. The sunlight from above barely touched it. "Cover it," DJ said finally. They gathered branches, leaves, dirt. Layer by layer they hid what they had found. The plan came together quickly after that. They would come back, with cameras, with proof. They would discover it again. And this time, the whole world would know. They left the cave behind them, climbing back into the daylight, laughing, tired, excited, and completely unaware that they had not left everything behind. The next day felt different. Even before they reached the woods, there was a tension none of them could quite explain, like something unfinished was waiting for them. DJ and Danny arrived first again, moving faster than usual. "You think it's still there?" Danny asked. "Of course it is," DJ said. "Where would it go?" Danny laughed nervously. "Yeah, I guess." They gathered supplies again, flashlights, snacks, the spray paint. But this time, there was something else. Expectation. When the others arrived, the mood was quieter. Even Bobby and Leroy weren't joking as much. "You still sure about this?" Lena asked. No one answered right away. Then DJ said, "We're already in this." And that was that. They made their way back to the cave. The opening looked the same, unchanged, still, but as they climbed down, the air felt heavier sooner. The cave seemed tighter, like it remembered them. No one said it out loud. They didn't have to. They reached the main chamber quickly this time. And then they saw it, the branches, the leaves, still there, but disturbed. Moved. Lena stopped first. "Something's wrong." The others followed her gaze. There, scattered across the makeshift cover, were dark stains. Fresh, wet. "Is that blood?" Chris asked. No one answered, because they were all thinking the same thing. That wasn't there yesterday. "Did anyone get hurt?" Brian asked, turning to the group. One by one, they shook their heads. No, I'm fine." Danny lifted his shirt slightly. Nothing. The silence deepened. "If it's not ours," Lena said slowly. "Then whose is it?" Leroy finished. They moved closer, carefully. DJ reached out and pulled back a branch, then another, and another, until the space beneath was exposed, empty. The body was gone. No one moved. No one spoke. The empty space where the body had been felt louder than anything they could have said. "That's not possible," Danny whispered. "It was right here," Chris added. "We all saw it," Bobby said. Leroy looked around the chamber. Someone took it. "Who?" Brian asked immediately. "Who even knows about this place?" No one had an answer, because there wasn't one that made sense. Lena stepped closer to the disturbed ground, crouching low. "Look at this!" They gathered around. The dirt wasn't just shifted, it was dragged. Marks ran along the ground, leading away from where the body had been hidden. Not clean. Not careful. Uneven, like something had been pulled or had pulled itself. "No," DJ said quickly. "No way." "It could be someone else," Chris offered. "Another group of kids, hikers, anyone." "In a cave this deep?" Lena asked. "And they just happened to find exactly where we hid it?" That landed. Hard. Danny's voice shook. What if it wasn't someone else? No one wanted to ask the next question, so Lena did. "What if it moved?" Silence. Thick, uncomfortable. Bobby shook his head. "That's crazy. Is it?" Lena shot back. "Because we found a perfectly preserved body buried in a cave. That's already crazy." "That doesn't mean it's walking around," Leroy said. "Then explain the blood," she replied. No one could. DJ forced a laugh. "All right, everyone just calm down. There's a logical explanation." "Then give it," Brian said. DJ opened his mouth, closed it. Because for once, he didn't have one. A faint sound echoed somewhere deeper in the cave. Soft, distant, like something shifting against stone. Every head turned. "Did you hear that?" Danny whispered. "Yeah," Chris said. Another sound, closer this time. A scrape. A slow drag. Lena stepped back. "We need to leave." No one argued. They turned as one, moving quickly toward the entrance. Not running, not yet, but faster than before. Behind them, something moved. And for the first time since they found the cave, it wasn't just empty darkness following them. It didn't stop moving until they were out of the woods. Even then, no one spoke for a while. The sun felt too bright, the air too open. Like they had stepped out of one world and into another, but brought something with them that didn't belong. That sound, Danny said finally. You heard it, right? Yeah, Chris replied. Could have been rocks shifting, Bobby added, though he didn't sound convinced. Lena stopped walking. No, she said. We're not doing that. Doing what? DJ asked. Pretending everything has a normal explanation, she replied. The body is gone, there was blood. And something was moving in that cave. Brian nodded. She's right, we need to tell someone. And say what? DJ snapped. That we found the mummy and it walked away? It's better than doing nothing, Brian said. But DJ was already shaking his head. No, if we go to the police now, we look crazy. They won't believe us. They'll just shut it down and we lose everything. Everything? Lena repeated. You mean your story? Our discovery, DJ corrected. People are missing, she said. That hung in the air, because even if they hadn't said it yet, they all knew something wasn't right beyond the cave. Leroy crossed his arms. So what do we do then? DJ took a breath. Then said the thing none of them expected. We find it. Silence. You're serious? Chris asked. If it's out there, DJ continued, we need to know where. What it's doing. If someone else finds it first, we lose control of the whole thing. That's not the problem, Lena said. It is if we don't understand what we're dealing with. DJ shot back. Bobby stepped in. All right, say we find it, then what? DJ hesitated just for a second. Then we move it. Move it where? Danny asked. DJ looked toward the neighborhood. My house. They all stared at him. My mom's greenhouse, he clarified. She barely uses it anymore. We can keep it there. Figure things out. That's insane, Brian said. Is it more insane than leaving it out there? DJ replied, where anyone or anything can find it. Lena shook her head. You're talking about hiding a dead body. No, DJ said quietly. He didn't mean to say it that way. But it came out anyway, and everyone heard it. They waited until night. No one said it outright, but they all felt safer moving in the dark, which didn't make sense, and that made it worse. The neighborhood was quiet as they gathered near DJ's house. Porch lights flickered on in the distance. TVs glowed behind curtains. Normal life, just a few feet away from something none of those people could imagine. You sure about this? Chris asked. DJ nodded. It's the best option we've got. The greenhouse sat behind the house, partially hidden by overgrown bushes. Its glass panels reflected the faint moonlight, giving it an almost hollow, watchful appearance. They moved carefully, quietly. The doors creaked as they opened them. Inside, the air was warm and stale, thick with the scent of soil and old plants. Rows of empty pots and overgrown beds filled the space, shadows stretching long across the glass walls. Where? Leroy whispered. DJ pointed toward a wooden cabinet beneath one of the planting tables. There. They approached slowly. The cabinet doors opened with a soft groan. Empty, waiting. All right, Bobby said. Let's make this quick. They had already wrapped the body tighter shirts, rope, anything they could use to hold it together. Even so, it felt wrong to touch. Wrong to carry, like it wasn't meant to be moved again. Ready? Chris asked. No one really was, but they nodded anyway. Together they lifted it. The weight felt different now, not heavier. Just different, as if it shifted slightly in their grip. Did you feel that? Danny whispered. No, Bobby said quickly. Just move. They lowered it into the cabinet. Carefully, slowly. It fit, barely. DJ closed the doors. For a moment, no one moved. That's it? Leroy asked. That's it, DJ said. They stepped back. One by one, they left the greenhouse, closing the door behind them as quietly as they could. No one noticed the cabinet door shift. Not even a full inch. Just enough. The sound started after midnight. At first, they were easy to ignore. A dog barking somewhere in the distance. Then another. Then several. Different parts of the neighborhood. Different directions. Probably a coyote, someone would say. Or a fox. Or nothing at all. But the sounds didn't follow any pattern. They rose, fell, shifted. Animals fighting, snarling, yelping, then silence. Then it started again somewhere else. Cats, raccoons, dogs, all reacting to something they couldn't see. Or something that was moving too fast to track. Inside their homes, the kids lay awake, listening, trying not to think about the greenhouse, trying not to imagine what might be inside it, or what might not be. Morning came eventually. Too quiet, too normal. No one checked the greenhouse. Not that day, maybe because they didn't want to know. Or maybe because part of them already did. But the sounds returned that night, louder, closer, and different. Not just animals this time. Something bigger, heavier, the kind of movement that didn't belong to anything small. People noticed. Neighbors talked. Doors stayed locked. Lights stayed on longer. And then the disappearances started. At first, it was just rumors. Someone's uncle didn't come home after walking his dog. An elderly woman who took nightly walks gone. No signs of struggle, no witnesses, just missing. By morning, the police were involved. By afternoon, the news had picked it up. Warnings spread quickly. Stay inside. Travel in groups. Avoid the dark. But the thing moving through the neighborhood didn't care about warnings. It had already begun to feed. And with each passing night, it was getting stronger, faster, more aware. What had once been something dry and still was becoming something else entirely. Something alive in the worst possible way. And none of the kids understood yet that they hadn't just brought something back. They had given it exactly what it needed. By late morning, the neighborhood didn't feel like itself anymore. It looked the same houses, same sidewalks, same quiet streets, but something underneath had shifted. Conversations were shorter, doors stayed closed. People watched each other a little too long. And every single one of the kids felt it. That's why when the phone rang at DJ's house, he didn't hesitate. "Everybody needs to get over here," he said, his voice tight. Now, one by one, they arrived. No bikes this time. No jokes. Just a shared understanding that something was wrong. They gathered in the backyard near the greenhouse. DJ didn't say anything at first. He just walked over and opened the door. It creaked louder than any of them remembered. Inside, the air felt different, not just warm. Disturbed. "Look," DJ said. They followed him to the cabinet. The doors were already open, empty. For a moment, no one reacted. Like their minds refused to process what they were seeing. "That's not," Danny started. "No," Chris said quietly. "It's not." Bobby stepped forward, checking inside like he expected to find something hidden in the shadows. Nothing. Lena didn't move. She stood near the entrance, her eyes scanning everything else instead. "The door was closed last night," she said. "Yeah," DJ replied. "I locked it." Brian frowned. "So someone broke in? Who?" Leroy asked. "And how did they even know it was here?" No one answered. Because the same thought was forming in all of their minds, and none of them wanted to be the one to say it first. Lena finally did. What if no one took it? The silence that followed felt heavier than anything they'd experienced in the cave. Danny shook his head immediately. No way. "Then explain it," she said. I don't know," he admitted. Lena stepped closer to the cabinet, crouching slightly. "There's no drag marks," she continued. "No signs of a struggle. No broken glass, nothing forced." Brian looked around the greenhouse. "It just left?" No one laughed. Because it didn't sound ridiculous anymore. It sounded possible. And that was worse. They moved back outside. The greenhouse suddenly felt too small, too enclosed, too close to whatever had been inside it. "What if it's still around here?" Danny asked, glancing nervously at the yard. "It's not," Bobby said. "We'd see it." "You don't know that," Chris replied. Lena crossed her arms, thinking. "The sound started the same night we brought it here. Everyone went still. The animals," she continued, "fighting, getting attacked. And then the next night," Brian added. "The people," she finished. The pattern was impossible to ignore now. Small prey first. Then bigger, stronger, like something building itself back up. "That's not a coincidence," Leroy said. "No," Lena agreed. "It's not." DJ ran a hand through his hair. "So you're saying we caused this?" "I'm saying it started when we moved it," she replied. Danny's voice dropped. "So it really is alive?" No one corrected him, because at this point, what else could it be? Bobby exhaled slowly. "All right, let's say it is. What do we do?" "Call the police," Brian said immediately. "And tell them what?" DJ shot back. "That we dug up a mummy and now it's eating people? It's better than nothing." "They won't believe us," DJ said. "Not without proof." "People are already disappearing," Lena snapped. "As proof, not of this," DJ replied. The argument was building again. Faster this time, sharper, because now it wasn't about a cave or a discovery. It was about survival. Leroy stepped in. "Enough." They all turned to him. "We can argue all day," he said. "Or we can figure out how to stop it." That shifted everything. because for the first time, they weren't talking about what it was. They were talking about what to do about it. Chris nodded slowly. We need a plan. Danny let out a nervous laugh. Yeah, sure. Just gotta figure out how to stop a mummy. The word sounded even more unreal now. And yet, it was the only thing that fit. They met later that day at the library. It felt strange being there. Too normal, too quiet. While outside, something was hunting. They split up, searching anything they could find, old books, newspapers, even the early computer terminals. What are we even looking for? Danny asked. How to stop it, DJ said. Yeah, but how do you look that up? Start with mummies, Lena said. It sounded ridiculous. But they tried, and slowly, pieces came together, old myths, ancient stories, half-truths and legends. Most of this is garbage, Bobby said, flipping through a book. Maybe not, Brian replied. Look at this. He pointed to a passage. Some traditions say you have to return the body to its resting place. The cave, Chris said. That's miles away, Leroy replied. And we couldn't even carry it fast enough before. Danny leaned over another book. Here's one. Something about corrupting the body. What does that mean? DJ asked, like making it take in something dead. Something already rotting. That's helpful, Bobby said flatly. Not really, Lena added. We don't have anything like that. Danny flipped another page, then paused. Wait, they all looked at him. It says something about tricking it into consuming dead flesh. Something that's been gone long enough to poison it, Chris frowned. Dead flesh? Yeah, silence. Then Leroy said it. We could get meat, everyone turned to him, from a butcher. Something that's been sitting long enough. Danny's eyes widened. You're saying we feed it? To slow it down, Leroy said. If this stuff is even half true, Brian nodded slowly. It might weaken it. And then what? Lena asked. DJ answered. Then we trap it. This wasn't just a theory anymore. It was a plan. Danny swallowed hard. And how do we even get close enough to do that? DJ looked at him, smiled slightly, and said, We use bait. Danny blinked. No one spoke for a second. Then Bobby stepped forward and grabbed him under the arms. Looks like you're the star of the show. Danny's eyes widened. Oh, come on, are you serious? Leroy laughed. You're the fastest one. You'll be fine. That's not reassuring. Lena shook her head. This is insane. Maybe, DJ said. But it's the only shot we've got. Danny looked around at all of them. No one did. The plan was set. That night, they would hunt it. Night fell heavier than it ever had before. The neighborhood didn't just get quiet, it held its breath. Porch lights flickered on earlier than usual. Doors were locked tighter. Curtains stayed drawn. Whatever was out there had already made its presence known. But the kids weren't hiding. They were preparing. Layers of clothing went on, first thick, awkward, uncomfortable. Then strips of hog meat wrapped tightly across their arms, necks, stomachs, and backs beneath their clothes. It felt ridiculous. It smelled worse. But if the stories were even half true, it might work. You look disgusting, Bobby told Danny. Danny glared at him. I feel disgusting. Leroy handed out the last of the supplies, water balloons filled with rubbing alcohol, sloshing softly with every movement. And don't drop these, he said. We only get one shot. DJ checked everything one last time. Flashlights, positions, distance, timing. His eyes finally landed on Danny. You remember what to do? Danny nodded slowly. Walk, act normal, don't panic. And if you see it? Chris asked. Danny hesitated. Run, he said. Not right away, DJ corrected. Lead it in. Give us a clear shot. Danny let out a dry laugh. Yeah, no pressure. They spread out into position. Shadows among shadows, watching, waiting, and then Danny stepped into the open. He walked his poodle down the sidewalk like it was any other night. The leash felt heavier in his hand. The silence felt louder than anything. He kept his head down, his pace steady, his breathing controlled. His Walkman rested against his chest, doubling as their lifeline. Still clear, he whispered. Static answered him. Then DJ's voice. Keep moving. Minutes passed, then more. Every step stretched longer than it should have. Every shadow looked wrong. Every sound too close, too sudden, too real. After nearly 2 hours, Danny's legs began to ache. I need a break, he whispered. Make it quick, DJ replied. Danny turned toward the park. The swings creaked softly as he sat down, letting himself rock back and forth. Slow. Steady. Normal. I don't see anything, he said quietly. Stay alert, Chris answered. Danny nodded to himself, and that's when the air changed. He didn't hear it at first. Didn't see it, but something behind him shifted. A presence. Heavy, silent, watching. The others saw it first. A shadow separating from the darkness. Moving fast. Too fast. Danny, duck! Bobby shouted through the line. Danny dropped instantly, just as something lunged over him. It missed. Barely, but it didn't stop. The thing moved like it had never been dead. Fast. Precise. Hungry. Danny scrambled to his feet, trying to run, but it was already on him. A hand-dry, impossibly strong grabbed the back of his neck and lifted him off the ground like he weighed nothing. He screamed, not a joke this time. Not laughter, pain, real. The others broke cover instantly. Now, DJ shouted. They rushed forward, launching the first wave of alcohol-filled balloons. They burst against the figure, soaking it. For a split second, the flashlight beams caught it clearly. The wrappings were torn, stained, darkened. The shape beneath them no longer thin and preserved, but filled out, muscles tightening under the decayed cloth. Its face partially exposed, sunken, but not empty. Alive in a way that made no sense, and then it bit down. Danny screamed again as its teeth sank into his side just below where the protection ended. Blood spilled. Hot. Immediate. Light it. Leroy yelled. DJ didn't hesitate. The match struck, flared, and flew. The flame caught instantly. A burst of blue fire spread across the alcohol-soaked wrappings. The creature recoiled, dropping Danny as it staggered back. It didn't scream, not like a person. The sound it made was lower, older, like something remembering pain rather than feeling it for the first time. Keep throwing! Chris shouted. More balloons. More bursts of liquid and flame. The fire spread, licking across its body, forcing it backward. For a moment, it looked like they were winning. The creature turned and ran, fast, faster than any of them expected. Go! DJ shouted. They chased it. Adrenaline pushing them forward, feet pounding against the pavement. More balloons thrown wildly as they tried to keep up. But it was no use. Within seconds, it was gone. Vanished into the darkness. They slowed. Stopped, breathing hard. The night swallowed the space where it had been, and just like that, it was over. Or at least, it felt like it. They ran back to Danny. He was sitting up now, clutching his side, his face pale but conscious. You okay? Bobby asked, dropping to his knees beside him. Danny winced. Yeah. I think so. Chris pulled his hand away gently, checking the wound. The bite had broken skin, not deep enough to kill, but deep enough. Blood seeped through his shirt. Lena crouched beside him. We need to clean that. It's fine, Danny said quickly. Did you see it? You got bit, she cut in. He paused, then shrugged weakly. It missed most of it, no one argued. Because compared to what it could have done, he was lucky. DJ looked out into the darkness. It ate it, he said. They all knew what he meant. The meat. The bait. It has to work, Chris added. That's what the story said. Leroy nodded. It'll slow it down, maybe weaken it. And then we can finish it, Bobby said. Hope. Small. Fragile. But there, for the first time since this started, they felt like they had done something, right? Like they had heard it. Changed the outcome. They helped Danny to his feet. Walked him home. One step at a time. Behind them, the night settled again. Quiet. Still. Watching. What they didn't see was the trail. Small drops of darkened blood leading into the shadows. Not fresh. Not entirely. Something thicker. Darker. Changing. Deep in the distance. Something moved again, slower this time, but not weaker. Not dying. Adapting. The flesh it had consumed didn't poison it. It fed it. Corrupted it. Made it something new. Something worse. And Danny, walking between his friends, holding his side, trying to convince himself he was fine. Didn't notice the heat building under his skin. Didn't feel the change starting in his blood. Didn't understand. That the story they thought was ending was only just beginning.
Hey, y'all heard about the good news? Y'all sleeping on me, huh? Had a good snooze. Wake up, wake up. We about to get the paper. Money never made me. Made me do something, nah, can't make me. Even if the money low can't pay me. Even if the money low can't play me.